So the Ultranet will make it much easier to communicate with parents. Parents can see their kids' grades, and when it comes to report time, they'll know what to expect and there won't be any surprises because they've been told along the way what scores they're getting and how they can improve on it. So overall, it will improve the relationship between parents and teachers and the understanding of how assessment tasks work and also the procedures of the school.
It'll be much easier just to have an ongoing reporting system so parents can see exactly where their kids at any point in the year, and that we can also reflect back on that and we can remember. Often at parent teachers or round tables, parents will say, what did you mean by this? And it can be quite hard to remember sometimes. Often now, if they have that information in front of them, they can contact us straight away. Can you explain this? It'll be much easier to do so.
Be able to assess students along the way instead of doing a final report, I think it's very useful both for teachers and parents. People probably think doing it electronically is more difficult, but from my own experience, I think actually it's more useful because it's up there, so you don't need to dig into whatever piles you have, so it's always there, very clear. And also, sometimes if we give parents a report, their response is, why don't you tell me earlier? So it's really hard to do that. However, if we make the marking or assessment transparent, that means we kind of inform parents, but without too much effort. So put it online. You mark your thing, just leave it online. So parents can see.
I think it's a good idea because students will get constant feedback, parents will get constant feedback, and you will see gradual improvement across the whole semester. Whereas if you only have reporting at the end of each semester, students generally improve the week or two before and the week or two after. They don't have that continuous improvement across the whole semester.
The whole idea of this system is really good for me. I really love it because with the Sports Academy, with those students, if they've got their work 100% online, all their teachers can obviously give that to them then. The students, if they're away from school, they can constantly see what's due in, they won't miss anything. And the whole idea of that ongoing reporting is really good for our kids because they can, their parents aren't going to be in a shock at the end of the term and they can step on that earlier.
Well, traditionally reporting twice a year is a very stressful time, so it just means that your reporting is ongoing, and I can see that as being beneficial not just for me as a teacher, but it's beneficial because the kids are actually seeing, okay, I've done 2 tasks and I've got this mark, so there's no surprises as to what their report's going to say. Parents can also see what their students are doing. It's a positive tool in terms of the teachers being able to give immediate feedback to parents and to students, and for parents to actually track and monitor how their students are going.
Probably the harder part is to train parents to use it. But I think once we get students on board, that will come.
They find it really good to submit their work that way. It's a lot better than having a teacher tell a student to write that date down in their diary, or the student's trying to remember what the teacher said in class. It's constantly in their face. They can constantly see reminders of when it's to hand it in and what part they're up to.
It will be a little bit of effort at the start, getting used to the interface and how it looks. Also, the feedback is a little bit harder, again, because we're not used to it. It's a strange interface and it takes a little bit to learn.
But once you do get the gist of it, then it's much easier. It takes probably about 5 minutes to set work to students once you're familiar with the process.
In terms of putting the tasks on to the Ultranet, at first it was very daunting. There were lots of little bits of icons and so forth. But once I'd done it once, it was really, really easy and straightforward. It probably took about 10 minutes to do a task, open it up to the kids and get it done. And then they were able to work through it at their own level, at their own pace, which was really great.
Some students will try to find any excuses to try not to do their work or skip their work, and they'll say, oh miss, I've forgotten my worksheet, or I've left it at home, I left it in the locker. However, if actually all the work is on the Ultranet, then they're able to. There's no excuse for them to say, I can't
One of the
access
frustrations of the Ultranet is that it doesn't allow me to see from the parent's perspective. As a teacher, I want to know what my comments look like to the parents, and that's just not something that's available to us.
In terms of learning benefits, I think that the Ultranet is going to be invaluable for parents, communication between parents, students and teachers. Currently we have a homework diary which isn't always effective. Kids lose it, they misplace it, parents ask for it, kids say, oh, I haven't got it. Whereas with the Ultranet, it's there in black and white for parents to see exactly what's due, what the student hasn't done, what their grades are, so they can be working with their child to bring up their levels, or the child sees exactly what their level is, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are. I just think that's incredibly valuable in terms of the communication between parents and schools. Sometimes that's a little bit lost, but I just think that this just makes it a little bit easier for us all to know where the kid is.
So when we first allocated the learning task, it was quite difficult to begin with, but with the second and third learning tasks, it made it much easier and it was much faster. So it only took about a few minutes to allocate the others, and it also helps with the printing budget that we'll be having next year. So the reduced amount of printing that's required from the teachers, so students can access worksheets online instead.
Okay. And no more standing in front of the photocopier.
Yeah, so no more standing in front and no more. Yeah, so it's much more beneficial for the whole school and the teachers. So we can do things at home and then the kids can work on it on the day, so we don't have to stress out about it. And also if teachers are away, it makes it much easier for students to catch up on work, and teachers can allocate tasks while they're absent. So yeah, all in all, it's a easier process.